Well, welcome back to Steve Rob Reviews. What do we got going down here? Guys, as far as I'm concerned, this is the best welder in the world. I got this given to me in the late 80s from my father. And I've used this welder a lot. And I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of pounds of welding rod through it. I'll give you a close look of it up close. And the reason why I think this is the first welder that somebody wants to get into welding, what they should buy, only if they have a couple of these criteria met. Well, this is it right here. Lincoln Welder AC225S. I'm not too sure if they still make this anymore, but this welder is bulletproof. And right there, you set that at 90, you can weld all day long at 90 amps. And for the most part, that's all I've ever really used. And I did put a longer cables on it. And at the back, get you around the back here, I did put a nice long lead on the back too. So it'll go from the back of my garage all the way out in the driveway. And like I said in the beginning there, yeah, if you do have 240 volt outlet in your shop, well then that's the welder for you right there. And I have used Hobart and Miller. And tell you the truth, I can't tell the difference. So either one is great. And I imagine you can pick these up used. And I'm guessing that thing weighs 200 pounds. I put it on some casters down there. And this thing has been just flawless. Well, here's my welding table here. And you can see my exhaust vent on there. And I go down and here's where I keep my welding rods. And guys, all I use is what farmers use. And if farmers like it, well, I like it too. And I'm not too sure if I can even get a number on here. There we go there. 7014 rod. And of course I got two different diameters. That's all I use. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh well, you got to go with the 7018. Well, here's some 7018 right here. And guys, you couldn't pay me to run this rod. I don't like it at all. Moisture gets to it. These rods here, some of them are, well, I'd say probably 5 years old. And on the end here is an empty hole. And I had this package right in here. And this here, a friend of mine sold this. She was a salesperson for this company called Certanium. I'm not even too sure where you can get this in the world. This here has to be the best welding rod I have ever used in my life. And this package here, 1/16. And down here, I believe it's this one right here. This one right here, if I can get you in the shot here. This is the only other rod that I use, and if I could get it in here, the 6013 is another rod that I use. And I do have some other rods mixed in here too, and they're hard facing rods. Of course I got thicker rods and smaller rods, a variety, but I do have some hard facing rods, some Certanium hard facing rods, and I'm probably not going to be able to find them, but yeah, it was a terrific rod for well, I can't find them now, for putting an edge on a piece of farm equipment. And you put this hard facing rod on first, and it's twice as hard as your welding rods. But that's pretty well it. And I just, you know, leave them in the containers there, and the moisture doesn't get to them, not like this 7018 stuff. And that's pretty well it. So I mean, if it's good enough for farmers, it's good enough for me. Well, I've had this welder for a long time. It's never quit on me once. Like you say, I can weld all day long at 90 amps. And they do make this type of welder in various different forms. I think there's even inverter styles, much smaller than this big giant one here. And if you can pick up a welder that'll do 90 amps, guys, that's all I usually weld with, is at 90 amps. I'm not welding great big huge thick stuff, and like usual, people will buy welders bigger than what they actually need. And for me, 90 amps seems to be fine. You just adjust your welding rod to your amperage and you should have no problem at all. Now, I do have a DC welder and I do prefer it over the AC, but there's not that much of a difference for the difference in price. This here today, I bet you can buy this for around 400 bucks, where my DC machine is also a TIG welder, is over $2,000. And how much do you need to weld, right? So unless you're really into welding, I think this is a great first welder to have if you have 240 volts. And there are some inverter series that are 120 volt and they're just terrific too, but I don't think you're going to get them for this price. So I just thought I'd bring this up today and just mention what I think, which is the best first welder to get, which is actually one of these. Like I say, if you can get like a Hobart or you can get a Miller, and there's other brand names out there. I'm not too big on these offshore stuff because, to tell you the truth, I don't believe they're going to get 50 years of service like something like this. So you guys let me know in the comments below what you use for your welder. And how many of you guys use farmer rods? Guys, I love the 7014. And like I say, if it's good enough for a farmer, it's good enough for me. So thanks for joining me here today. It's always nice to see everybody drop in. Come back again. Let's have some more fun. Cheers.